So the annealer is something that we're bringing in. We're the importer for the U.S. It's ARC Precision developed the annealer. We're working directly with him to refine it for the U.S. market and then bring it in. It works on a completely different technology than its competitors. How this works is we have an array of 5 thermal sensors here that are looking at the piece of brass when you put it in. So it's looking at a range of about a ½ inch, and it's looking at 5 locations on that. And then you can tell it exactly which location you want and what temperature you want that to be at. And so when it anneals, it's going to anneal to that temperature. And what's really nice about that is if you have variations in your brass, such as a thicker or thinner neck wall, it's only going to heat to that particular temperature. Whereas the competitors will just apply a current to it.
It's more of a one-size-fits-all annealing.
Right, more of a one-size-fits-all. And the other thing is that, so when we run this one, so what you do is you...
I've seen videos where they'll run the cases, you know, a handful of 50 or whatever, and then you got them melted, you got them burnt. It just doesn't
Right. So on this one, we do have on our website, we will have the base annealing settings to get like a factory anneal condition. But you may want to adjust that depending on, you know, what kind of neck tension you're running. You may want to have a little softer or a little harder. So the way this works is you would set the height. We have some, and it has 1,000 memories, but you would set the height. So you would set exactly where this case is sitting in here. So right here, I'll put it on 28 nozzler. I just hit use in the memory. And then at that point, I can take the elevator down. It comes with a complete set of these guys, which are just support guides, which you fit to the shell.
Okay.
And then when you set the height, it's going to come up to the programmed height, or you can adjust it. When I drop the shell in there, I'm trying to get it between two little nodes. Right? And then I can just, anytime you're doing something, you can just hit the stop button over here and drop it out the bottom. So it's got a feed funnel on top. And so right here on it says 28 nozzler, has my height setting, has my glow setting, which is my temperature in degrees Celsius, so 350 degrees. I would go to normal mode. Normal mode is used for doing the neck. I also have a pulse mode. A pulse mode is going to take about a 0.1 second pulse and energize, de-energize, energize, de-energize until it gets to temperature, and that's going to drive the anneal deeper into the shell. So if you were wildcatting or forming your own brass, you might want to do that to get a little softer anneal before you fire it, before you form it. But anyway, once we're in here, I get to choose which sensor I'm looking at. So we'll say we're looking at the second from the bottom sensor. In the unit that we release in March, that will be saved in your memory settings on which sensor you have set. And then when I'm ready to anneal, I just drop the shell in and I would hit the anneal button. It does a preheat cycle to about 200 degrees Celsius to make everything uniform, and then it does the actual anneal. And then I have an annealed case that I can hold for about that long before it starts burning my fingers. Right? So, and then if I want to anneal another case, I can just drop it in. I can hit the anneal button. It does the same thing, drops out the bottom. Goes through a preheat, and then it goes to the actual anneal. I can set it to auto. So if I have it on auto, now the sensors are looking for the case. So now all I have to do is drop it in. It's gonna, and then it immediately starts annealing, throws the anneal cycle. And then the nice thing is, so you can see right here, which hopefully you can see. I can't see when I'm this close. But we had a setting of 350 degrees C on that bottom the second to bottom sensor, and you can also see where the temperatures were. So we were 323 on the bottom sensor, 371, 357, 341 at the top sensor. Right, so and it took 1.099 seconds. And you can plug your PC into this and pull all that data as you're annealing. So you can actually go back and look at if you had any weird ones that were like took too long or took shorter time or those kind of things, and you can sort those out if you like. So the feeder comes with it. So the other really nice thing is once you have these in memory, right?
You're saying feeder, I'm sorry. We're back up. So that's
the feeder. This is the feeder.
So you just sit them in here and basically hand them into...
Yes, so on this one I have some 7 SAUM brass located in this one. So what I'm going to do is the feeder is extremely easy to set up. It works by a stepper motor just rotating this little guy here.
Okay.
So to show you, I guess, the full... So what you do is you have these dials, they can come off, and then you select whichever one fits in your case, right? So then what you do to set this feeder up, I go back out, turn this off, go to the main. I can set my feeder up by adjusting it, it'll sit up here. It normally has a screw, but for demonstration purposes, we're putting it on and removing it. So I set my feeder up by simply hitting the positions, and I can drag this slider. So my drop position, if I hit this guy right here in the feeder mode, it just rotates over. I want to make sure it drops out. I'll hit that button to drop it out, and it rotates back. If I hit my pickup position here, it's in that position there, so I can adjust exactly where that's sitting so it picks it up. And then I can just hit test, and it's going to rotate over and back and make sure it drops through. So then, if I just hit save, that's ready to go. Go to my main. It's still set on 28 Nosler. So I would just go to my memories, and I'm doing 7 SOM now. So I'm switching. I go to my, if I can hit it, my finger, fat finger. There we go. Make sure that's 7 SOM. Right. I hit use.
JS.
That's all right. That's actually the recipe for the South African team.
Okay.
So I come back here, go to my normal again from the main menu. It's going to reset the height on the table, so it went down to 0, and then it came back up, and then I'm ready to go. I can turn the feeder on, and I can hit auto start, and at this point, it's going to go through, drop the brass in preheat mode to 200 degrees, and then it does the anneal, and then drops it out annealed, and goes to the next piece. And then you just click the auto start to turn it off, and that'll turn it off if you want to be done before it finishes. Finishes the anneal, drops it out.